I basically wandered into the V&A. I was supposed to be doing something else and stumbled across an exhibition that was being held a couple of years ago called At Home in Renaissance Italy. And I sort of had to go in there because I've got an English mother and an Italian father, and I love anything like that. And there were lots of wonderful reconstructions of loggias, and there were wonderful objects and artefacts in there. There was the birthing bowl of Leonardo da Vinci's, of his mother. There was an iron corset. There was lots of wonderful glass and ceramics. But the thing I was most drawn to were the images of mainly women wearing stoats, ermines and weasels. And Ovid talks about the significance of the ermine in relation to the ambiguity in terms of whether a woman is pregnant or she's trying to conceive a child. And this poem came out of this. It's called On the Recommendation of Ovid, We Tried a Weasel. I have got 2 kids, so it's okay. It was the first mammal he ever gave me. He must have trapped it late last night when the moon disappeared inside a nightclub of clouds and stars giggling staggered behind. I found it in the morning, slung like an amulet across the lapel of my winter coat, flattened to a strip, satin-lined, its snout like the tip of a snooker cue, black-tipped and bloody. In truth, he tried other things, such as the skins of a dozen pulverized rattlesnakes, milk from a score of white-iced rabbits, a pot of crayfish. Then there were the showers of flowers. Oh yes, the flowers. Barrow boy loads of flowers such as the biblical Selenagella, a cruciferous plant that he said, if I ever reach full term, was believed as it bloomed to smooth out the suffering of delivery. He was known to serenade me in my sleep with those hollowed-out Halloween gourds favoured by percussionists, for it said the loose pieces left inside simulate the rattling sound of an embryo. What else can I say? We tried and tried. We practically wore the weasel to death. Ask yourself, how many times can you scrape the bottom of a barrel? He shocked me with a rat, a dead cat dredged from a sacred riverbed. I drew the line. He gave up after that. When I'm in England, I live in Derbyshire, in the Peak District, and I'm a big fan of Ken Loach's film director, and we went to, me and my son James, who's here tonight, we went to try and see him at the Bradford Film Festival, and we actually broke down on the motorway, and this poem arose out of this, and I suppose it's a kind of perfect existentialist sort of moment when you're stood there and then just something sort of appears to you. It's also a poem about longing, and of course his pattern making in it. Slip road with indigo sky and pussy willows. It's early evening as we step over the barrier onto the relative safety of the verge. Ahead, through a web of hawthorn hedge, a retail park throws switch after switch until Vegas belts across our eye line and we have to look the other way, start talking. You about the possibility of blading in Dundee. I about Enid Marks and a bag I just saw that you might like. Morello cherry red piped with icing white and a transfer of a Lambretta. The traffic slurs, time passes, we stop talking. The traffic slurs, time passes, we start talking. You talk about the stars, a bear constellation. I about an idea I just got, designed for a cotton print. Look, let me show you. See over there by the ridge how the artificial glow of the mall overflows into night indigo, then fades in much the same way as vegetable dye with too much exposure to direct light or zealous washing. That's the best kind of indigo, as it harbours no rust streaks. Add those silvery wands to your right, rhythms of pussy willow strumming the night sky, then repeat. You start laughing at me, saying, hopefully we'll be long gone before length gets finished. Propped against a voltage box, we turn up our coat collars. Tonight, the moon is very old and doddery. Milky as a cataract, it gropes the stars, a distant night owl. The traffic slurs, time passes, you stop laughing, stop listening, so I stop talking, stop inventing. The traffic blurs, time passes, until ahead of us, within touching distance, the citron yellow lights of a breakdown truck fizzing against black like lemons in the night on the slopes of the barley twist groves of Amalfi.